Welcome back, ghouls and gals. Today we are finally talking about travel horror and perhaps tourist horror, vacation horror. All of this kind of falls under the same kind of horror umbrella of getting from one place to another and a horrifying situation happening within. Or perhaps going from one place and the horrifying thing happening at the destination of the trip. I just really love this subgenre because it is such a good umbrella for so many great horror films. And I challenged myself in this video to specifically talk about movies that came out from 2000 to 2009. Now, this decade specifically was very formative for me when I was exploring horror. And I feel like this is a really good example of all of the subgenres meeting and having a really great meeting point is this decade specifically. So if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give this a thumbs up, subscribe for more, check out all of my links down below if you would like to see any more of me or support the channel any further. I do upload a free movie to my Patreon every Friday, an older horror movie, because I'm trying to build up my own catalog of accessible horror for you all to watch. So check all that out down below and let's get into 10 travel, tourist, trip horror movies. Starting off with the film that kicked off this whole list for me, Turistas from 2006. A group of young backpackers' vacation turns sour when a bus accident leaves them stranded in a remote rural Brazilian area that holds an ominous secret. There's always an ominous secret. I feel like this film is super underrated. This is honestly peak early 2000s, mid 2000s horror. But moving on to a personal favorite of mine, The Ruins from 2008. 4 Americans are looking for fun during a sunny Mexico holiday, but they get much more than that after visiting an archaeological dig in the jungle. In the summer of 2008, when this movie came out, I fixated on this movie. For the entire summer, I was obsessed. I feel like this was where my love of body horror really started. And I watched this movie at least once a day for the whole summer. I subjected so many friends to this film. But moving on to a movie that I feel is probably a more predictable movie for this list, with Hostel from 2005. 3 backpackers head to a Slovakian city that promises to meet their hedonistic expectations with no idea of the hell that awaits them. I personally think number 2 is the best in this series. I may be a little biased because I do love a sequel. But let's talk about Eden Lake from 2008. When a young couple goes to a remote wooded lake for a romantic getaway, their quiet weekend is shattered by an aggressive group of local kids, and this was a recommendation. Obviously, I feel like we've all seen this by now, but this was specifically a recommendation from my best friend Carlos for this list, so I wanted to add it. Moving forward to another personal favorite of mine with the remake of Funny Games. From 2007, a family arrive at their holiday home and are visited by a pair of polite and seemingly pleasant young men. Armed with deceptively sweet smiles and golf clubs, they proceed to terrorize and torture the tight-knit family, giving them the night to survive. I am a huge fan of Michael Haneke, and I love that he remade his own film. I think that's so cool. Now at number 5 is a film that on a recent watch within the past couple of years, I feel like this movie is such a great film and deserves a lot more love than I feel like it got at the time. Joyride from 2001. 3 young people on a road trip from Colorado to New Jersey talk to a trucker on a CB radio and then must escape when he turns out to be a psychotic killer. And this I feel falls into the road trip kind of horror, but still in the journey, like going from one destination to another. Okay, let's talk about Wolf Creek from 2005. Stranded backpackers in remote Australia fall prey to a horrendous bushman who offers to fix their car and then takes them captive. And this is another film that on a recent watch is way scarier now to me than when I was younger. I'm noticing so many more details and so many underlying meanings and things, and I don't know, I feel like with age comes a lot more knowledge, and that's why I love a rewatch. It allows you to change your mind and opinion on things. But let's move into High Tension from 2003. Best friends Marie and Alexia decide to spend a quiet weekend at Alexia's parents' secluded farmhouse. But on the night of their arrival, the girls' idyllic getaway turns into an endless night of horror. And because you guys know I love physical media and I'm standing right here, let me just pull this one out. A lot of reviews from like recent reviews that I'm seeing on Letterboxd, there's like a resurgence for Splinter from 2008. When their plans for a nature trip go awry, Polly and boyfriend Seth decide to check into a motel. On the way, they're carjacked and kidnapped and are taken to a nearby gas station, but along the way they encounter an increasingly terrifying horde of parasites, and if any of them intend to survive, they'll have to outsmart the deadly organisms. This honestly falls into body horror, possibly insect parasite horror, motel horror, so many different, this is just such a great example, another example of where all of these subgenres meet. But it is, at the end of the day, like they're on a trip and they just get carjacked. And let's finish this list off with a film that is essential and integral to the horror community, The Descent from 2005. After a tragic accident, 6 friends reunite for a caving expedition. Their adventure soon goes horribly wrong when a collapse traps them deep underground and they find themselves pursued by bloodthirsty creatures. As their friendships deteriorate, they find themselves in a desperate struggle to survive the creatures and each other. This is a movie that I wish I could go and like wipe my brain so that I could experience it for the first time all over again. And even though I say that, it still holds up on every rewatch. It is such a solid movie. This was filmed on a set with like paper mache and cardboard caves, and it's so cool to think that there was so much DIY aspects in this movie because it is such a solid horror movie. Hi, Alex. You scared me. I thought there was a ghost coming in. I saw the door opening and I genuinely, like, I didn't see Alex's hand opening the door and I thought there was a ghost coming in here. I think it's time to end this video. As I mentioned in my last video, you can expect a new video from me every 2 days. Near the end of every month, I've been uploading a side character deep dive from a horror movie. So let me know in the comments a side character from a horror movie that you would like me to do a video about. I've already talked about Dr. Satan from House of a Thousand Corpses, Glenn and Glenda from the Chucky series, and recently Zelda from Pet Sematary. So let me know which side character you'd like me to deep dive into next, and I will see you in my next video. I also, before I go, I have another travel and tourist horror kind of video planned already, but it's not dealing with a specific decade. It's just kind of all over the place. So look forward to that probably next month. And also, hey, there is a Letterboxd list linked down below with all of the films mentioned in this video. So I'll see you guys in 2 days. Sayonara, Spooky fam.